Hi, I'm Ems, aka on Dark and Wings. In this video, I will be showing you the process of how I created this Grimdark spacesanta ornament. Please do like, subscribe and comment if you can, it all helps my small channel grow and it gives me the motivation to keep making videos. Decorative baubles and dioramas aren't anything new. I've seen a bunch of cool Warhammer related ones over the years and I've always wanted to make one myself, so I thought I'd get around to doing it this year. Unfortunately, the ones that I ordered, the baubles, were far too small. Yeah, it's quite hilarious. I mean, these might come in handy for something else in the future. Then I had a look in some supermarkets and even a local hobbycraft, and they didn't have anything like this, which was disappointing. But I did find something which could be a good substitute, which is this larger ornament here. And I got this from Asda in the UK, and it was around about £4. The problem with this is it's solid, so I have to take the bottom out. Luckily it was cardboard, so I thought it would be easy enough to do. However, as you will see later on, this would be a problem, and I adapted to this and we'll talk about it in a bit. So let's have a look at the Grimdark Santa for now instead. So this was 3D printed. You can't see the details too well because it's in white, but there are some cool looking small space marines. These are like epic scale, so like toys, and there's some guns and ammunition in the back, so it's very cool. I'll put the link in the description below where you can purchase this file if you'd like one for yourself. It's part of a larger diorama, as you can see here, but I just wanted to use the Santa. I wanted to go through the process of how I painted this Space Santa up as well quickly. Something I wanted to point out is I've never worked with this contrast paint before. It's called Black Legion and it covers really well. I actually used it as a base coat. It's such a nice paint. Anyway, I'm starting off with the Pro Acryl colour here, the burnt red. I even got a Christmas themed fidget popper to use as a palette for the video, keeping on brand. This is also something I purchased from Asda. It's something like £1 and I thought it was really whimsical. Whilst the red dries, I grabbed a molten brown from Citadel. This is using my go-to brown, and we're painting Santa's sack here. Please keep your jokes and innuendos to yourself. It's nice sometimes to just paint things up like this for fun and not think about it too much or be too overly neat with it. The next layer to Santa's armour will be the Pro Acryl Bold Red. I'm finding I'm using Pro Acryl more and more as workhorse paint since they cover super well. Here I'm washing the red armour, so I'm mixing the Black Legion contrast paint with Fleshed Over Red contrast paint, and this makes like a very dark red colour, and I'm thinning it down. I've talked about this a bunch of times, but contrast paints can be used as washes too if you thin them down. Next up I'm grabbing a Pro Acryl Ivory. Love this colour, it's so nice. So this is going all around the trim, and then later on I'll work out to pure white. Pro Acryl have some really great off-white colours, including this one, so you can use them as a substitute for white or gradually build them up to white from that colour. Next up, I'm grabbing Royal Gold from Darkstar Molten Metals. Love this colour. Darkstar Molten Metals have become one of my workhorse paints as well. I've used them previously, but they did send me the full set to review, and I'll put that in the link in the description below. But they're really fantastic metallics if you want to do some true metallic metals. I'm just picking out some of the raised ornamented parts of the armour here just to make it pop, and gold's kind of a royal colour and fits in with the Christmas theme. After this, just grabbing some Kislev flesh from Citadel just for quick. I just grabbed it off my shelf. I do that sometimes, whatever's most convenient and closest to me. And I'm just blocking out the skin tone on Santa here. And I'm using some Gilliman's flesh tone, and I'm thinning this down to wash consistency and putting this over the flesh and some parts of the gold armor bits as well. I grabbed some Monfang brown and mixed it with some Deathclaw brown and added some highlights to Santa's sack. Haha. I grabbed a Thunderhawk blue here. I really like adding this to highlights on black areas, so this is going on where the seams of the armor meet. So these bits here, I can't think what they're called, and also on the guns and the weapons and such forth. I prefer using this colour to just pure grey when highlighting black. It just adds some differentiations to it. I have Apothecary White here from Citadel. It's a pretty useless colour to be honest, but I like using it as a wash over things which are white because it has this slightly bluish grey tone to it. Here I'm getting one of my favourite paints, and probably yours too if you have it. It's the Pro Acryl Titanium White. Titanium White isn't exclusive to Pro Acryl, it's a colour which has been used for years in canvas painting, and some other miniature brands do sell it as well. I think it's because of the consistency of this paint is why people do like it. It's thin enough to use, whereas other brands that do sell it, it tends to be quite thick. I'm just going over the trim now with that white to highlight it, and I'm also doing it over the shoulder of the little Space Marines, which I've painted yellow because obviously I'm a Lamenter fan, so they had to be little Lamenter Space Marines. So here's the Santa almost completed now. I just wanted to add some last highlights on the red armor and demonstrate that to you. Here I have two of the smallest Artist Opus brushes. So I have the 000S and the even smaller 000M. These were actually sent out to me by Artist Opus along with a set of the signature dry brushes. I already have a Winsor & Newton 00, so it'd be cool to compare these at some point. The dry brushing set I will be making a full video about and comparing them to a makeup brush set and a budget dry brushing set. I'm going to be using the 000M brush here to add some highlights. An important bit about colours I wanted to tell you is when it comes to highlighting red, a lot of people will use orange tones such as this Wild Rider red, or they will add white to it and it will become too chalky. So if you don't want your red to be too chalky or too orangey looking, there is ways around that. So if you have a peachy skin tone like this, it has a slightly orange tinge to it but not as intense as pure orange. So if you mix this with your red, you'll get a nice highlight colour. I'm just highlighting the panels here. I'm going for a more volumetric highlighting process rather than edge highlighting, as I've already done the trim in white. Probably a video I'll do in the future about volumes. As another video to add to the list of many things I need to make, a video on painting volumes. So this ice yellow here is a fantastic colour, and you can add it to most any other colour to highlight it, but it looks great with red. So instead of using white and making it look too chalky, add this as well so it doesn't look too chalky or too pink. I'm just going over the highlights I've previously done here to just reinforce them and to create some more contrast. You could also thin down and glaze some red over the top of this so the highlights aren't as stark in contrast to your mid-tone red if you wanted to. So here is the Grimdark Santa part of the model all done here. I think this looks actually pretty cool, and even though I said I didn't want to spend much time on it, I ended up doing so. Here is the Santa inside of the bauble. As you might have noticed, it cracked open, and this happened in the process of me trying to undo it, and I didn't really have time to get another one. So I just decided to lean into this and make something else out of it. I added some barbed wire I made myself. You can simply do this by getting some wire and wrapping it around a pencil or a brush. I added a 3D printed barrel. I put some popsicle sticks for more stability, and also some snow. And even though it didn't go as planned as original, I think it looks better now actually. It fits the Grimdark universe more. Kind of reminds me of that Japanese art of repairing things with gold, where even if things go wrong, you can still make something look cool or beautiful out of it. There's a great metaphor for art and for life as well, that things don't go as planned all the time, but you have to adapt and make the best of the situation, and sometimes it might be better than you expected. I do have a place now where you can donate and monetize, subscribe to my channel, it does help out. Otherwise please share this video if you can do. As always, thank you for watching. Remember to enjoy your hobbies for yourself, respect that people enjoy them in their own ways, and at the end of the day they're just war dollies. I'll see you in the next one, and if you're watching this at Christmas time, happy holidays.